Today on Driven by Purpose, we're joined by a man who believes that real business growth does not happen in isolation. It happens through meaningful connections. Phil Bedford is the founder of SBC, the referral community. He's also a global speaker, trainer, and entrepreneur who has spent the last 2 decades teaching people how to grow their businesses by building trust, not just transactions. From his work at Ascentive to nurturing purpose-driven collaborations across the region, Phil's mission is clear: empower entrepreneurs to build businesses that are not just profitable, but personal and impactful. And I'm so happy to bring him on to this podcast. So let's dive into his journey, the story behind SBC, and why community is the new currency. Hey Phil, how are you today?
I am fantastic, Armin. Lovely to be here.
I'm so excited and nervous because you are probably the most professional speaker and guest that I've had in quite some time now. I've got a lot of podcast versions the past couple of episodes, and you're not a virgin on these things. So I'm nervous today, as you can see.
I'm going to try and live up to that now.
I'm sure you will. So Phil, let me start with asking you about how your journey with SBC has come about. Strategic Business Connect, SBC. What do you think was the trigger point or the starting point of?
Oof.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So I've been teaching and consulting around the art of advanced business networking, i.e. building a process, building a system to make it work. The thing is with business networking is most people, it's a little bit like kicking a ball around in the street as a kid when you're playing football. You think you're playing football, but really you're just having fun. And if you want to get really professional at this, you go and find a team of elite players, you get a coach, you get trained. Right? So that's what I've been doing for years, is training those business owners who want to get more results. So I've been doing that. Part of what I teach has been in terms of business networks, well, not just business networks, any group of people. Where do you need to be as the entrepreneur to be in amongst the people you need to drive your business? And so a big part of this is, of course, networking groups. And there's some fantastic networking groups there all over the world. And Dubai is equal as well, has some great networking groups. Been in many, many years. But what most people tend to do is when they choose their group, they choose based on the number of people that are there, rather than necessarily who those people are and what they have access to.
Absolutely.
And then when they turn up, they're just handing out business cards and doing some kind of elevator pitch and basically not leveraging that possibility. And what I realized was, number one, no matter how important it is to learn how to do this, 95% of people will never learn how to network properly.
95?
Easily. They just don't want to, not interested, don't understand.
But they still want to be around the people who are networking or just
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing, right? They didn't want to learn, but they wanted to do it. Right? Yeah. Which, from my perspective, was madness. But again, at the end of the day, you have to let people do it the way they want to do it, right?
Of course.
So we realized there was a bit of a gap in the network, because you've got some great networking groups here that are super structured, super accountable. You've got others that are super casual, right? And what we recognized was there was a bit of a gap in the market to allow people to network in a different way. Okay. So number one was different formats. Number two was to be able to come without joining, because not everyone wants to join networks.
That's true.
They don't know if they're going to be in business in 6 months, 12 months, so they won't pay for memberships. Yeah. So we thought, okay, number one, we'll just have casual. You can pay and come if you want, but we had different formats. So a structured one in the morning, which is perfect for the introverts. A casual one in the evening, which is for the people that prefer to be in a more casual environment where they're having drinks and chats. The Zoom for all the people that are tired of driving from Sharjah to Dubai for their networking and just wanted to jump on a network. Yeah. And all those businesses that are looking to come to Dubai and build the networks before. So we had all these different formats. And then we stuck them together into, a lot of people were saying, yeah, but how do we connect together? How do we know who else is there? And so we built a second level, which was the VIP. And that's where people have...
That's the paid membership.
Yeah,
piece.
that's where people say, okay, now I'm going to pay some money up front. I get extra benefits like discounts, free sessions, exclusive. But I actually don't call it, it's not really a membership. For my mind, it's a success fee.
It's what?
A success
A
fee.
success fee.
And what I mean by that is think about yourself. Have you ever joined a gym?
Yeah.
Right. The minute you pay to join the gym, do you turn up because you paid and you want to get the return on investment?
I guess, yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? When we buy something, we make sure we use it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of people join networking groups or turn up, but only go once.
Do you know what? There's another thing that I see and I've noticed, because with It's a Way, we have a membership, that's what we call it. They think that everything in terms of their business problems and all their problems are just going to vanish away if they join a networking group.
Just because they joined it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that kind of gets, gives a lot of pressure to us as community.
As the community.
As
The organizers,
community
right?
organizers and leaders. However, it also gives that person an assumption that, okay, now my business is in good hands. But we don't carry
Well,
their
that's
business
exactly
along,
the same
right?
dynamic as joining a gym. Well, I've joined the gym,
I'm going to lose weight.
but now I'm going to lose weight.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm going to do it by not turning up. Just because I joined.
Yeah.
And what you realize is joining a network, joining a gym is just the first step. You've actually got to turn up. And if you're not willing to do that, don't go. Because what people do is they blame the network. Oh, it's all their fault I didn't get business.
Absolutely.
Right? It's what you do.
Absolutely.
And so our success fee, the idea was, well, if you're going to pay it, you turn up. And if you turn up, you get results. And so that's why we did it. But we've done a structure in a way that with all the discounts and the free this and the free that, that once they've paid that, they can start to recover that by turning up. So by turning up, you get results. By turning up, you recover your investment.
Is there a model where actually you are mapping this ROI for them?
That is actually something they do themselves at this point in time. It would be lovely, and I think it's a fantastic idea. But again, then you've got your dynamic of going back to the individual and saying, what did you get? And I think the challenges with a lot of networking is people don't understand what their successes were.
Exactly.
And maybe the success is, I got a client.
Yeah, or I got 5 referrals.
Or I got
from
5
which-
referrals. But they may not realize a year down the line that the person they met suddenly converts into something really big, or 2 years down the line. And because it's not immediate, they don't track it, but they don't realize if they had never been there, they won't get the result. And so networking is a little bit like brushing your teeth.
Brushing your teeth. I love your metaphors.
So think
really.
about this, right? My teeth are dirty, right? So I sit here and I brush my teeth solid for 3 days. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Brush my teeth solid for 3 days.
And
right, what happens a week later? They start going rotten, they're still dirty, right? But the thing is, if I brush it in the morning and the evening, and then I brush it again, and I brush it again, well, nothing happens. I don't see anything happening because I'm doing what I need to do. But if I stop doing it, I have problems with my teeth.
I can't stop looking at your teeth now. Sorry.
But this is the thing, right? And networking is the same. But it's also the same as normal marketing. Because if you don't market, no one knows you're there.
Yeah.
And do you know what I'm saying? So networking is the same. You've got to keep doing it because you never know when the next success is going to come. And you never know when you missed it because you didn't do it.
So what were the early challenges? I know I've had a lot of challenges early on and even now with It's Her Way and building that community. What were yours?
In SBC?
In SBC.
The first challenge was how did we build the community in a place that was easily manageable, like a portal online? And because it was a new business, obviously doing it in a cost-effective manner.
Sure.
Because we didn't quite know it was going to work. We had this idea. So my wife and myself, we decided to do this when we sat in Switzerland, actually, one day. We sat there and we'd been at a conference and we took a day to strategize afterwards. And we just realized, again, not everybody wants to learn how to do this properly. So let's give them a forum where they can turn up and almost put them on stabilizers. And what I mean by that is if people don't know what to do and what to say, how can we structure this so that they'll at least do something of what they need to do to get success without realizing they're doing it?
Yeah.
And the challenge was putting these structures in place, finding how it worked, and trying to be different to other people.
And how is SBC different?
Well, number one, the deep dive we do, because we limit the number of attendees, we don't go for as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And what I mean by this, and this is where strategically people are getting confused with networking. So let me give you an example. And I see this at my events, people will walk in, they'll look around the corner and they'll go,
there are so many.
only, let's say 30 people. And they'll go, waste of time, right?
Exactly.
Right. And this is the way they look at networking, right? So let me get everyone that's watching this today. Imagine the last time you went to a networking event and you met somebody new. How long did you spend talking to them?
It would be at least a few minutes.
So what do you want to say? 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
5 to 10 minutes. The longer I talk with them, the deeper the conversation would go. So sometimes it could even be more than 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, especially if there's an interest, right?
Yes.
But let's say 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Say 10 minutes as an average. Okay. How many people can you speak to in an hour?
6.
6.
Yeah.
How long's your average networking event?
90 minutes to 2 hours.
So how many people's that?
Technically, yes, and I totally agree with you on
15,
that.
20 people.
Yep.
So the point is to have a reasonable conversation.
Of course.
It makes no sense to have more than 30 people anyway.
And then imagine if you have a room filled with 50 to 100 people, you're just collecting business cards and you're 110% not going to be able to follow through unless you're just capturing data for another database business. I don't know.
So you're going to collect all the business cards and spam everyone, which is not networking. That's cold calling face to face.
Yeah.
So the point is, of course, so this is our concept and our belief was, okay, instead of filling the room with people they'll never meet because they don't have time, reduce the number, get the right people in the room. And what I mean by that is the right niche. Okay. So the individual can look at the group and go, right, in that group of people there, based on the category, I'll either meet the clients I want, or I'll meet the collaborative possibilities that could be referring me to the clients I want, or people that just help me solve problems. So what we're now looking at is the concept of a golden goose rather than a golden egg.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then what we do is limit the number of attendees. We make sure everyone extrapolates as much information about each other as possible. So then every attendee can go, right, based on the people I met, you, I will absolutely follow up with because I know something's going to come from this one way or another. You help me, I help you, whatever in the future. You, maybe not today.
And I think, you know what, another value to this is, Phil, which I've seen, especially when I attend SBC events, is there are a good number of familiar faces. While others might just look at, I don't want to see the same faces all over again. But the fact that you're seeing familiar faces is that you're giving them an opportunity to see you again as well and remember you again. 100%. And coming back to marketing, right? A minimum of 17 times is an impact from a brand that needs to be had, right? So if you're meeting someone for like 3-4 times, you're already familiar with them. Imagine.
And it's great to hear that. And by the way, I think the 17 times is since COVID, isn't it? Because prior to COVID, it was between 5 and 12 times. And then over COVID, it shifted.
Yeah, because of the noise.
Absolutely. And we get bombarded with up to 4,000 marketing messages a day. Yeah. And so the thing is with referrals and networking, it cuts straight through that.
Exactly.
But not everyone wants to do it. But going back to what you were saying, it's really interesting. Again, this is the conversation that's going through people's heads. So you've got, let's say, 20 people in a room, and they will come in, they'll go, have I met them all before? And you can see them go, well, that's a waste of time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can tell you're a more experienced networker yourself because when you apply you need to see the brand between 5 to 17 times to really become comfortable it's the same with networking.
Absolutely.
I need to see you a number of occasions to be sure that I like you, to know that I feel safe, to move, if I want to buy from you, move to that. And by the way, maybe refer, connect. And so you're absolutely right. It's important that there are people there who you've seen before because you need the opportunity for allow them to become comfortable.
Absolutely.
But people are so desperate to get results on the spot, they don't get that.
Yeah.
And so, but it's also important to keep new people coming in because there may be people who on the spot are coming with a need and something will happen. So having that balance, I think, is imperative. And I'm so happy to hear you say that.
Yeah. And I also struggle with that balance. And I actually, as I'm going along my own network journey, it feels like there's a lot of good quality network members now that we've got, and that those actually influence the newer ones to come in. Yeah. And I see that similarity in SBC as well. And I've got to give you that credit.
Thank you.
Because it's been a year now, or more than a year since we've
2.5
partnered.
years, can you believe?
No, since It's Her Way and SBC
since
partnered.
we collaborated, absolutely, yeah.
And since SBC started off, it's been 2.5 years. But the past 1 year, the value that we've got for our members, I think it's really interesting. What do you think about the collaboration? How has that worked?
Well, this is an interesting thing as well. I mean, I think more importantly, you've got the 3 people running the network that see the point of collaborating. for me, you and Michelle, and we're open to that. And we also know that the success may not be immediate.
Absolutely.
Because you've got a longer term view, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you've got the two, three people that run the network that have the right mindset, it's not just about the members. It's also about the people that run the network, seeing people from their own community that they can help, because there's, in my mind, networking should not be competitive.
It should.
It should be collaborative.
Yep.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of networks out there that might say it's about collaboration, but the mindset is different.
Yeah.
And so what they do is, you can't join other networks. Don't be anywhere else. But all you're doing is limiting
yourself as well.
Your members' connections.
Yes.
Your job as a networker is to be in at least 3 networking groups. And the other thing is to become pivotal in all 3. And that's the strategy of networking. But unfortunately, people don't see that. And unfortunately, a lot of networking groups don't see that as well.
Yeah.
And this is just my opinion. I think a lot of networking groups are run by people who don't really understand the science of networking.
Absolutely.
They're actually event organizers.
True that.
And their passion's in the right place.
That.
They mean well, but they don't really understand that.
And that doesn't serve anybody's purpose, right? Coming back to purpose and the fact that you are someone who is so passionate about SBC and Ascentive, and everything you do is about human connection.
100%.
Where did that come from? How did it start?
So I think it goes back to my childhood. So there's a bit of a couple of things going on here. When I was a kid, I remember being, so here we go. You can't tell it now, but I used to have ginger hair. I was quite
Ginger hair.
Quite ginger, red hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was quite chubby, and I was very clever. And I was also very respectful. And in the UK, that was the perfect recipe to be bullied. So I spent, because I didn't want to get in trouble. If people tried to pick fights with me, I wouldn't fight back because I didn't want to get in trouble. So my childhood was not a pleasant time. And so I became quite introverted. And I remember at school, the bullies would chase me, so to hide from the bullies. I'm not joking. I used to actually go and play hide and seek at lunchtime. And my lunchtime was spent hiding in a forest or under trees. And it was great because I played a game, but the bullies couldn't find me.
Oh.
So I spent my life hiding.
I wouldn't be able to
You wouldn't
tell.
guess, right?
I wouldn't be able to tell.
And it wasn't until I was probably about 16, 17, that I found a group of lads when I moved. I moved where I was living, and they're still friends today. And that became my network, although I didn't know it was a network. Your friends are a network, by the way.
Sure, of course.
Which makes me laugh when people say, I don't network, because what do you think your friends and family are? Right? And so these lads lifted me up.
Yep.
Right? And we used to go out, I became more popular, I became more confident, things started shifting. And then I started moving into business. The interesting thing was I always had a business brain. When I was 11 years old, my mum used to give me orange juice. So I used to get a packed lunch.
Okay.
Right? And I got packed lunch because to pay for school dinners was expensive and we didn't have money. Everyone else was doing school dinners. But the interesting thing was, in my class, no one else had orange juice.
Okay.
So what happens? We can see Phil's orange juice over there. So I used to sell my lunch.
Interesting.
And that was at 11 years old. That was my first foray into
And because you were chubby, you would get more orange juice from
I got
mom.
more orange juice. Maybe that was the problem. It shouldn't have been orange juice. It should have been water. But so I used to sell my orange juice. That was my first foray. And then, I moved into it. But I think what it was, Armin, is every success I've had in life has been because I've been around people who supported and challenged me and allowed me to grow. And as you progress through jobs that I had and all that, everything I've done, I've found if you're around the right people, it's easier.
It's just that, right? Around the right people. How can one find the right people?
I think number one is engaging that in yourself. Because if you approach relationships with a view of what can I get?
Absolutely, Phil. Yes. You just spoke my mind. You can't be in a taking attitude or a taking approach. You can't be just someone who wants to be on the receiving end and not give.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, though, as an entrepreneur or whatever in life, ultimately everybody is listening to WIIFM. WIIFM is a radio station, which means what's in it.
WIIFM. Okay.
What's in it for me?
There you go. Another
Right?
metaphor.
What's in it for me?
What's
Okay.
in it for me? Yeah.
Now, you got people that want to take and everything, they'll leverage relationships to get, everything's about getting, because there's two kinds of people. There's transactional, there's relational. Both can be successful. They just do it differently. The transactional will spend money to be successful. The relational will help and leverage people.
Thinking about it in marketing terms, right? Transactional is more of the performance marketing piece. And relational is the brand building piece.
The brand building and the networking exactly that. It's two kinds of marketing.
Yeah.
But the thing is ultimately, even people that like to help, there's a lot of people listening to me here are going, that's not fair, what's in it for me is not fair. I don't think that way. Yes, you do. Because what's in it for you is feeling good about helping other people.
Yep. There's gratification
It's
there.
just different, but you're not doing it because you want it. It's a byproduct of that.
Yeah.
Now, again, if you find a group of people who are connected, powerful, and that's their intention, how do we go forward? You're not on your own anymore.
And on that note, Phil, one of the things that is excessively difficult, and I've gone around, we've got friends and people who own communities themselves, right? In our networks, in our community networks. We know it's hard as businesses for it to survive. So what are the challenges that SBC has faced?
To survive?
As a business, yes.
Actually, we've been really lucky. We've grown really well. And maybe that's because, in 2.5 years, we've got over 100 VIP. We've got 3,000 people that turn up on a regular basis.
Is it because of your legacy of all the networking groups and institutions that you've been affiliated with prior?
Looking back, actually, I have to listen to Michelle tell me this, because Michelle's, my wife's an ex-school teacher, and she joined the entrepreneurial journey when she got, we came up with the idea with SBC. And looking at from the outside in, she used to say, this success you've got today, Phil, I can see it's because you built your brand and your network over the last 19 years.
Precisely.
And which has allowed you to immediately go in and go, boom. And I think this is the thing with networking, Armin, is people don't realize networking is actually about starting to solve tomorrow's problems today. Which means
starting to solve tomorrow's
problems today. So if let's just say I met a lawyer who likes me, I've met an accountant who likes me, all my friends, all my connections, and we have a relationship. Now, in 5 years' time, I suddenly have a legal question. My mate, the lawyer, will help me. My accountant will help me. Someone will give me a lift to the airport. But if I've never built those relationships, when those problems hit, I'm like, I don't know anyone. So what's the solution? I have to go to Google. I have to pay somebody. And this is, just today I was on the line, and I pinged this lady and said, hey, we've got a networking event coming up. And she's like, well, I've just moved jobs, so I don't need to network anymore. And I went, because networking is about making your life easier, not just the job.
And it's constant.
And people don't see that. And that's the challenge, I think, when you have a job, is you're very blinkered into what people are for you. I have my friends, I have the people I work with, I have my job. And what they're not realizing is if they can build these connections and stuff in advance,
they can
one day, if and when you need it, problem solved.
Absolutely.
But we don't see that far ahead.
Yeah. And I have to say this, that people are thinking of these 3 categories of relationships that you've talked about as 3 not connected circles, but isolated circles that they have. If you would connect them, you'd probably have more value to your life as well as their lives. Like it can be just a cross-functional synergy to say.
Yeah, because it's a little bit like having a wheel. If you imagine a bicycle wheel, and you're in the middle of the bicycle wheel, the hub is you.
Yeah.
Everybody you know is around the edge of the wheel.
Yeah.
And if you help the people, you connect the people around the wheel. Well, what happens when you help people?
Yeah.
They start to help you back.
They start to help you back.
Right? Now, that's one wheel. But imagine if you're also in another 2 wheels where you're a hub as well, and they're different people. So now what you can do is you not only got all these people who you've invested in advance that can help you when you need it, because if you help someone enough, it's like I buy you a cup of coffee, Armin, then I buy you 2 cups of coffee, then I buy you a sandwich. You're a decent person. You're there thinking, what? I need to buy him back. I need to find balance.
I need to give him something back.
I need to give him, because you're a decent human being, right?
You're feeling indebted in so many ways, right?
But it's not the reason for doing it. I did it because I want to buy you a coffee. But as a decent human being, you're like, I need to find balance. That's a network. But that's, that's how it works. If you're not a decent person, you're like, I just got a free coffee. Right? So the thing is, if you've got this one wheel, then you've got another, then you've got another, and you're doing all this contribution, And these people are the right people
Yeah.
with the right connections, with the right intention. Now do you suddenly think these people might be saying, how can I help you? How can I introduce you to the people you need to be introduced to? My mate's the CEO of this. My best friend's that.
Yeah.
Now life's easy. But if you've never invested in those relationships, you've got 3 hubs and no wheel.
So true, so true. And that's a balance that and I've seen you a lot achieve that. You mentor people and you mentor others in visibility and influence, how you can influence them. How do you personally stay aligned with your own values and purpose when you're doing this on and on? Maybe you get some good mentees and you get some not so good. How are you balancing that?
I think number one is staying true to myself. What's important for me is walking the talk. If I say do this, I do it. You know? And we all know people out there, for example, who they sell websites, but they don't have one themselves.
I've seen some of those,
Right?
yes.
You know, we have the doctor that's in there telling you not to smoke, and 5 minutes later you catch him outside the back of the hospital having a cigarette.
Yeah.
You know, for me, that's, you know, it's important that I walk the talk. And so I always maintain that.
Yeah.
And I think that for me has been fundamental. The other thing is, of course, and what breaks my heart is when I see people you can't help.
How is that? I don't think if you've networked enough and if you have a wide network and you're an owner of a network, very rarely do I feel that I can't help them.
You can, but they won't accept it.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
They're not open yet or their mindset is not there yet.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was just having a conversation the other day with someone who was, they'd been through a year with us and had massive success. You know, down to their own hard efforts, and they're a very professional person. But the community allowed them to get these opportunities. And then they came up for renewal and said to me, no, I'm not going to renew.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, right, your choice. Sad to see you go, but explain this to me. Because as a business coach, one of the things I think is important is if it's working and giving you what you want, find ways to do more of it.
True. Right.
And so what people are almost doing is saying, well, I've had all this success, let me draw a line and I'll go and do something else. And what they're not realizing is all the success that would follow if they carried on doing
Absolutely. They're kind of blocking their own
it.
potential.
They blocked it.
They've blocked it because
Yeah.
it is a continuous drip. It's a drip feed, so to speak, right?
Yeah. And you shouldn't just be in one network or one this.
Of course,
Again, you keep doing what works.
Yeah.
And a lot of people tend to then go, well, I've done okay, let me go over here. And by the way, I've been guilty of this as well. You know, I've been successful in certain strategies and then I've thought, right, okay, what could I be doing better? And I move and I drop it. Right? And I'm guilty of that as well.
You've learned.
But it's important that every now and again you stop and you turn around and go, right, okay, it's not what it was. What did I used to do that I've stopped doing that used to work? And often it's the simple stuff. And that's why you see so many people come back to networks after they've left. And if you say to them, why did you come back? They go, well, because this used to work. And you say, well, why did you leave in the first place? I thought I knew better.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing a lot of that churn come on into its survey. It's been 8 years now. And we are definitely seeing some of the old members even come up with different business ideas and then starting off back into the game with its survey because they've trusted it the first time around. And the ones who actually left assuming that they knew better, they've not found themselves in other networking events.
And it's interesting you say, because I'm listening to you then, you know, I run a mastermind as well.
Yeah.
With the Ascentive community.
With the Ascentive,
and,
yes.
And it's interesting because the whole mastermind concept is you as a business owner, you can only approach your business with your brain, your experiences, your knowledge and all this.
Yes.
And so every problem you solve based on what you see of the world. And of course the mastermind concept is being in a place with other brains that are different.
Brains, yes.
And so when you table a problem, table a challenge, everyone throws in their thoughts and people see it completely differently. And that allows you to say, didn't think of that. Okay, maybe I'll take that on board. Maybe I'll take that. But people. But it's interesting how people will exit from that environment and then continue with their own brain. Yeah. And I think to be in that place where we're challenged can be pivotal because especially as a small business owner, I think the challenges for a lot of small business owners, they're not really small business owners. They're salespeople.
Sure.
And they're not acting like a business owner yet. And it often takes 3 to 5 years for them to realize, number one, I need to be a business owner, not a salesperson. Absolutely. Yes, you'll always be selling, because you're the best salesperson. Yes, you have to do that, but you also have to find a way to stop every month and say, right, what am I missing?
Yep.
I need to go on the business and look down because at the moment I'm so busy selling
In the business.
I'm missing stuff.
Yes, of course.
And that's pivotal. And so many people don't do that. So in the early times, people approach being a business owner like a salesperson. So they're not thinking big picture. And the other thing is they're not willing to invest in themselves in the business because their mindset is still employed.
Employee
Somebody
mindset.
else will pay for me to do this.
Yeah.
When I get the clients, I will invest in my marketing. When I get my clients, I will learn how to network. And it's not that way. You have to invest in advance to get the skills you need to run the business.
But then
and they go the other way.
Here, Phil, I think It's Her Way does it a little differently, especially because the kind of members we've got, right? And I think you'll find it interesting if I haven't told you that yet. With It's Her Way, we try to also coach or mentor the members in keeping as much longevity in their business, meaning spending wisely, right? And also spending as you go along. Not so much not investing at all, but investing in the right things and then trying to evaluate that. Because there are those excited ones who'd go in and sign up for every single community and network and then not get anything out of it or just be MIA in all of them.
100%.
Versus the ones that want to start small but still are very cautious.
So what I'm hearing there is, and you're very, very right, you have to be frugal.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have to be clever. Well, you don't have to be because someone might have an investor or they've got their husband's money or they've got something. They take it from the family and they invest it, right?
Yeah.
What they haven't realized is that's a loan from the family.
Yes.
You still need to pay that back.
And they don't realize that it's going to run out.
It's going to run out.
At some point.
And not everyone realizes it's a loan on the business. I actually had a conversation with a lady once who told me her business was profitable. She'd been in business 5 years. But when I dug, she actually hadn't turned a profit. It's just her husband kept putting money into the business.
Money, yes.
So in her mind, it was profitable, but actually it was her husband's money.
It wasn't,
He was bailing her out every single month, but she didn't understand that. And going back to what you were saying, you know, when you launch a business, it's actually about investing your money in the right things, not the wrong things. So I like what you're saying about being frugal, and I love what It's Her Way does, is drip feed knowledge in, which is great.
Yeah.
But you also see people when they start a business do what their old business used to do.
Or their old job used to do as well.
Or their old job used to do. So I worked for a big company, and how did they get clients? They spent 20,000 dirhams a month on marketing and advertising. And so you start your business, and there you go, 20,000. I'll get a singing and dancing website. I'll spend 10,000 dirhams on social media. But here's the problem.
You're not doing it.
You've got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
And
how
can
you can't
you
afford it
if
as
you
a small
don't-
business owner.
Exactly.
So you need to be frugal and you need to be clever.
Yeah.
And that's why networking
Will help
and
you.
learning how to leverage those relationships is so powerful because ultimately it's free. It's just time.
Tell me one thing that has reminded you when you've looked at some of your members or your VIPs that has reminded you that this is what I was meant to do. One instance or one story.
Actually, it's a young lady who was very high in project management. She used to work in Iraq with a hard hat, guy standing next to her with the guns, and she was running oil and gas. And I remember her coming on my program, which was called Get More Clients Now. She liked the idea of it. She said, "Look, Phil, I want to sign up for this Incentive Pro thing, but I've got to be honest with you. The reason she wanted to do it was she'd been networking everywhere. It wasn't working. And she realized she needed structure. And I said, look, tell me more about this. And she said, well, at the time, you know, I'm a single mum. I've got 3 kids. I've just started my own business, which isn't working. I'm just taking a franchise of a travel company as well. So I've now got 2 businesses. I cannot afford for this not to work. Right? This is like my last ditched attempt. And so I said to her, look, I won't fail you if you don't fail me. I will tell you everything you need to do, and I got your back, but you got to put in the work. And I remember I was just chatting to her the other day, and she didn't share this with me because she felt a little bit embarrassed, hence I'm not mentioning the name. And she said to me, 4 months in of starting the program with you, Phil, I closed a client worth 1.4 million dirhams. And she said, I sat there and went, if I had not been in the program, if I had not taken this risk, I wouldn't be here today. She's still in my community today. She's part of SPC as well. She's still part of my mastermind, and she still turns up once a month to get on the business. And now she works with heads of state.
Okay.
She's combined her two businesses. As being a part of the community, it allowed her to use her natural ability to strategize, and she came up with a new business model.
Wow.
And she's smashing it. And that is why I do what I do, because she comes back to me and goes, "Thank you."
That's so
And
lovely.
that for me goes back to that bullied kid, the one that was hiding, the one that wasn't good enough. And when I get someone say, "Thank you, you've done this," it enriches me, and this is why I'm here.
Yeah, I can see that. Thank you for doing that for people, Phil. A lot of them just need that invisible hand. You made me well up, by the way. We can talk for hours
We could.
about networking and the technicalities of it, but being conscious of time, I've got to ask you a last and final question. What does driven by purpose, the statement, mean to you?
I think driven by purpose is knowing, why have you chosen to do this?
Why have you chosen your why? Was that
So your why is, for what reason have you chosen to be a business owner doing what you do? And by the way, you can be an employee as well. For what reason have you chosen this? But then understanding not just why you're doing it, but what drove it behind that. And that often pops up in your first 7 years of life. There will be something pivotal back there that formed you in a certain way, that causes you to react in a certain way as an adult. And if you let me give you an example. Imagine the lifeguard who comes to you for a job, and you're interviewing two lifeguards. And the one lifeguard you interview and you say, "Well, why should I take you on board?" And the lifeguard says, "Well, I'm a really fast swimmer. I'm saving for college. And I just love people, and, I enjoy lifeguarding." And then you get the other one come in, and the other lifeguard says, "Tell me why you want to be a lifeguard." And he says, "Well, honest," he says, when I was 6 years old, my sister drowned. And I couldn't save her. And what drives me is to make sure that never happens to anyone ever again.
Yeah.
Which one are you going to employ?
I'll employ the one who's more dedicated.
Because it's above and beyond money. They will do everything. Now, as a business owner, if you can tap into that, and everybody has it. Unfortunately, for most of us, it's hidden away. Right? We have to uncover that. But if you can tap into that why behind the why, Ascentive calls it the emotionally charged connection. But most people stop at the why, or the Hollywood answer. They haven't really dug deep. Now, you take that why behind the why, and you start to market that. And then you also find the network, the people in your network who have a similar passion. Yep. And now you build your network, not just of connected people, but people that buy into that making a difference. How motivated do you think your network is going to be to help you achieve that?
That's a deep, deep connection.
Super deep. And this is what I'm saying to you, frustrated me about the Ascentive material, was when people were looking at me, they're going, "I don't need to come and learn how to hand out business cards." What they're not realizing is we start with what's the why behind your why, and now build a network that's going to climb over hot coals to help you achieve what you want to achieve.
Yes, and
But
even
people don't get
understand
that.
the people that you're helping or the people that you're speaking to, what their why is. And when you connect at that level, there's a different connection. There's a different relationship.
But half of filtering your network, which we do in Ascentive and build this plan, is actually about filtering out the people that, bless them, no problem, but we shouldn't be around as often as we are to get where we want to go.
Yeah.
And it's about allocating your time and your resources to make sure that you're driving your network in the right way. So I'm getting a little bit deep there. But to me, it's about understanding what your real and purpose can be. You don't necessarily know your purpose unless you understand your why behind your why. Yeah. Then you can define your purpose. And then if you've got the effort, you drive that. But I think most people don't really know what their purpose is. If you ask most entrepreneurs, why do you do what you do? They're like, "Well, I like to help my clients. Makes me feel good."
Yeah. And I think I was one of them. I was guilty of that. Probably just didn't dig deeper on the understanding of the why. And a few sessions, and one of those was yours, to give you that credit. I teared up that day, right? Yeah.
I remember.
And it was so amazing that I realized that it was that deep, that little girl, that story, that going back to, those instances.
But then you take that and you use it as a superpower.
I did.
You don't become a victim. You've taken that, and you can see that's what drives you all the way through everything you've done, because you took it. You say, I can take it either way. I'm going to take it as a superpower.
Yeah.
And that's what you've done.
Yep, I have. Thank you, Phil. Thank you for that. Forever grateful for that. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure.
Really love talking to you as always.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.